Good evening from born in British Columbia. This is Arlo Johnson, and it's May the 20th at about 7:40 p.m. Waiting for a little rain out the window here, from what I understand, anyway. So, I hope everything is well with you. The thing I would like to talk about a little bit tonight is something I've been thinking about for a long time, and sort of been bothering me a bit because I didn't want to question it, but I didn't want to believe that the way most people read it, and that is Noah's flood, the flood of Noah. I felt for a long, long time that there was something wrong with this idea that this was a global flood. The Bible doesn't say it was a global flood, or it doesn't say it's not a global flood. It said it flooded the whole world. So, but then it says things like flooded it to the top of the hills, or by 18 cubits. Well, that's like 28 or 30 feet or something like that. You know, that's not over the top of Everest. And things like, for instance, the Chinese have been around for approximately 13,000 years. They didn't disappear. The idea was, I have no problem believing in a flood. I believe there was a flood, definitely, for the reasons God said. But the flood in the world that they called the world then is different to the world that we would call the world now. That's the only difference. And the idea that that the pardon me, I'm thinking here. The idea that it was a worldwide flood doesn't I didn't think it would be right, and now I listen to this guy, Dr. Hugh Ross. He's got a thing on internet and whatever, YouTube and everything else. He's an astrophysicist. He's a Canadian from British Columbia, where I live. He's been in California now for many, many, many years. And he has a website and a site called Reasons to Believe. And he's a real whiz guy, I guess you could call it. I mean, he has an answer for everything. They interview on all kinds of stuff. He's also a pastor of a church, and he works at a university, and he produces this site, and very interesting. Reasons to Believe calls it. Has all kinds of books and stuff, tons of books. So you might want to listen to him at some time. I agree with 99% of what he says. Sometimes there's stuff that I just I can't believe it, because you know, the problem sometimes with people who are, you know, very, very educated and, you know, top of the rung of their whatever it is they're involved in. He's right at the top of his game. But they can get to a place where the Bible says one thing and it's not necessarily completely clear about whether it's this way or that way, or, you know, not to the ordinary reader. But when these people, they sort of feel like they can't say anything that sounds in today's world to be, you know, controversial, or if it's racist, oh, you stay way away from it, that's for sure. But that's not talking about when this was done and what the conditions were at that time. It's totally different from what it is now. And I think they have a bit of a tendency to sort of whitewash it over a little bit and try to be, you know, calming and very, you know, generous in their pronouncements. And I know perfectly well that they consider that to be doing the right thing. But whether it is the right thing or not, I'm not too sure. Because there's no getting around it. You know, if you tell the truth, you are going to be controversial. It is a very controversial thing to tell the truth. Now, it's a relief to me to actually to listen to him and his arguments, because they just, you know, basically just fitted right in with what my thinking has been about that. And it was reassuring to hear that from a, you know, very knowledgeable guy in his field. And I was glad of that, because I didn't want to discount the idea that the Loomis flood didn't happen. It happened. I perfectly believe that. That is for sure. And why it happened and everything else. But the only thing, it happened in their world, not in this world. Not in the world we know now. You know, because there's a big difference. It looks like, as Hugh Ross was showing on maps what he considered to be the flood area and why and this and that and everything. And then, you know, it covered basically all of Saudi Arabia and Iraq and, you know, Israel and all that country in there. It was quite a large area. I think it went beyond that. You know, it was wider than that. So it was quite a big area. And he said that area, I mean, he said if Noah was in that ark, he wouldn't see land anywhere, that's for sure. He pointed out you could be on Lake Superior in Canada and you would not see land anywhere. Now, that's due to the curvature of the earth. So, you know, I mean, when you consider, like, I mean, people believe that the total earth flooded. The whole earth by, I don't know, feet, quite a few feet above all the mountains, which includes, like, say, Mount Everest. Well, that's not possible. That's you know, unbelievable thing. Besides that, all these countries that, you know, existed at that way back that time and before that time, they weren't flooded. Their civilizations were still, you know, intact. And so it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think the Bible is very true. Every word of it is true, providing you understand it as it was written, not as we think it should have been written. As it was written, and in those times, with all the different things going on, I mean, there was wars then just as bad as now, or worse than now, there was all kinds of things going on. And, you know, it was a matter of, what, 4,000 years ago now, I guess. In some cases, they say that God decided to flood the earth to save civilization, or they would all have been dead, even Noah. I don't know. You can believe that, yes or no. Yes, doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm glad I listened to this guy today, because that was a question mark I had in my mind about things. And there's one other one. I mean, I brought this one up to a preacher from the Living Church of God who was visiting in Kelowna. He's actually from Edmonton, but he joined the Living Church of God here a while ago. He was, I don't know, in university or something then, before then, and he's a very nice guy, a very square shooter, and very knowledgeable, and, you know, like a guy you can really learn to like quickly. Yeah, Stuart Wachowski is his name. Yeah, and he's on YouTube, on their site, and, you know, every Sabbath day. Today's a Sabbath day. Usually I tune into that website and let it run quite a bit. Today I let Hugh Ross run for quite a while. And he's a pastor too. And he's a very knowledgeable guy. You might want to listen to him. Go to YouTube and just look up Hugh Ross. There's tons of it. I'm going to leave the other part. There's another reason I wanted to talk about too. There's the two things and that is what happened to the sixth-day creation people, and what's the difference between them and Adam. And I've listened to quite a few things, and it all ties into a whole bunch of things, you know, like where did my race, I guess I have a race, see? My race is a white race. I often wondered where it come from. I've had videos on that, but I've also got this one in mind because it's pretty well black and white right in the Bible. Absolutely, the Bible, you can't deny it. I've talked to preachers about it, and they just, you know, try to twist and turn and try and say, oh, well, it's, you know, it's a combination of this and that. That's total BS. I know that. They're trying to be generally, you know, middle of the road. Don't want to get any controversy about anything. So that's I'm going to leave that for a separate one, because those two, this one now has been settled in my mind. I am not afraid to say that I believe that the Noah's flood was local, and it can be proven. And with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for listening, and God bless you. And if you want to subscribe, please do so. It would help me a lot. And, yeah, it doesn't cost anything. You get on the list. Thanks. Anyway, goodbye.